guys, Ash Ray Shadow Legends, welcome to the video. Glad to have you all here with me today. I have the Fusion, I have the Incarnate. The Incarnate has, well, suffice it to say, been a very unpopular Fusion. Not a lot of players going for her. I saw on a recent poll around 85% of people passing from this Fusion. Let me know if you're going for her, if you already have her. I did. So, first of all, you know, I cover this game kind of for a living, one of my few jobs here, right? So, I figure, you know, might as well, if I can, unless there's something crazy going on with the family or whatever, might as well try to go for everybody, even if they're not my absolute favorite. And I also have kind of a completionist air about me in terms of I want to collect every champion that I can get my hands on, especially, obviously, all the Fusions now, having been playing since the very beginning of Fusions. Actually, I started right after Foley, so I missed, I want to say, the first 2 or 3 Fusions, and then after that, I've only missed one in the last couple years. And you know who it was, guys? It was Emic. I missed Emic Trunkheart, and I have always been kicking myself. I didn't even have a good reason. I was busy traveling or whatever, but I'm like, come on, man. Like, he's a part of so many awesome teams. It's just shame on me. So now I've vowed since Emic to go for every Fusion and Fragment summon here, but I can totally understand as well. Whether you're a spender or free to play, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can get burnt out on these Fusions, and it's the best thing to do just to skip and take some time off so it doesn't feel like you have to do chores, right? Inside a video game at the end of the day. But I know a lot of you guys are like me that just kind of try to go for everybody and see what happens as I spill a drink over here. So, that's my long-winded way of saying that I did go for the Incarnate. The Incarnate is Arbiter's kind of companion champion. I want to actually start out with my overall assessment on this champion, right? As I said, a lot of people not feeling her at all. You got to be careful when you hear people's first opinion on any champion, any Fusion, no matter who it is, what it is, right? Because the endgame players look at things differently than mid-game players, than new players. You always have to decide, is this Fusion right for me? Or what kind of effect can this Fusion have on my account? So if they're not somebody, if the new champion's not somebody who's going to absolutely change something in the endgame, speed farm faster than somebody else in any respective dungeon, or just be a game changer and kind of crack the top 3 teams of endgame players in Hydra Clan Boss, or, you know, viably compete in live arena gold 4 and beyond, or in platinum tier classic arena, then most endgame players are gonna kind of be out on them, right? And she's really none of that, in my opinion. So is she S tier? No. Is she A tier? No. Is she B tier? Yes, I actually think she's a solid B, which to me is probably a little bit better than the majority of people have been talking about her thus far. So here she is. She looks pretty cool. One final note here. She is Arbiter's companion champion, right? And Arbiter is a champion that, you know, almost every player in the game eventually gets vis-a-vis the Arbiter missions. So it's really cool they added a companion with her. But I have to say, what could have been with this champion is kind of the bummer on her. And even though I do think she's a pretty solid champ, it's like, man, there could be so many awesome things, the dynamics that you really capitalize on between her and Arbiter. And I felt like, yeah, they did cover quite a few of those in these passives, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But really, they could have done a little something to Arbiter as well, right? They could have went in and given her a very soft buff to give her extra abilities if the Incarnate is on the same team as well. To me, I feel like that was a big missed opportunity here. I could think of a bunch of things that, you know, that you could do here, but you could grant an extra turn after the A2 if the Incarnate's on the same team. You can make these buffs, the increased attack, for example, protected. You can make the weaken and the decreased duration unable to be resisted if the Incarnate is on the same team. There's a lot that you could do here. I mean, you could even add, it places an increased speed on the Mentor of Heroes if the Incarnate is on the same team. Again, you might like some of those ideas, you might hate some of those ideas, but the point is, they could have done something to Arbiter to really entice players to combine these two kind of support champions. It's interesting to have 2 supports like this as tandem champions. We see like a Kaja and a Timid, a Marichka and a Taurus, a White Queen and King Narcissus. So usually it's kind of a damage dealer mixed with a support, but these are 2 supports, which is very interesting. So what does Incarnate actually do, Ash? 5 minutes into the video. Well, she's a defense-based champion on the A1, a 2 2-time hitter with a provoke on each hit, which is not bad. That's a 50% chance when booked on each hit, so pretty nice for, you know, you could use as a Head of Decay, kind of a backup provoker. You could also use her as a Magma Dragon provoker with that A1 ability, which is handy. I do like the fact that she has Force Affinity as well. On the A2, Formation Phalanx. I like the name of this ability. A 3-turn cooldown in AoE. We're removing shield buffs from enemies and another random buff from enemies. So not a bad ability there. Then we place a shield on all our allies, proportional to her defense, which scales fairly well. She's almost 1500 on the base defense. On the A3, defensive measures. A 3-turn cooldown again with an ally protect and a strengthen. That is 75% raw damage mitigation on all of our allies. She will take 50% of that damage, and the strengthen will mitigate the rest. It's a great survivability move, right? Especially on a 3-turn cooldown. Okay, so now we get into the Arbiter synergy here. Crisis Response, her first passive, is on a 4-turn cooldown. Increases champion's accuracy by 20 for each ally under an ally protection buff. So, ostensibly, we can get a 60 accuracy bonus after we use the A3 ability with the ally protection. Not bad, because we do need accuracy for the A2 and for the A1 ability. On the second passive, actually, let's keep reading. When killed, resets the cooldown of the revival skill on Arbiter, the 20% turn meter boost with the revive that also grants the extra turn when you revive an ally. Resets the cooldown of that ability when killed, so when she dies, right? So the cool thing about this is that ability can be used in Hydra and areas, any area of the game, as just a turn meter boost, right, as well. But it kind of stinks, because what if you need to revive the next turn, you just don't know it yet? Well, at least if she dies, you're gonna instantly, you know, reset that ability so she can be revived immediately, right? Now, the ultimate purpose passive is a 4-turn cooldown, increases champion's resistance by 20 for each ally under an ally protection. So again, potentially a 60 resistance buff, or bonus, excuse me, when the ally protection is up. This champion receives 20% of the damage of any ally arbiters, so she's gonna soak up 20% damage mitigation off of Arbiter as well. And if any arbiter is about to get killed by a fatal hit, places an unkillable buff on her for 1 turn, and this is on a 4-turn cooldown. That's really, really nice. Kind of bummed out she doesn't have an aura here, because, you know, there's no all battle aura or dungeon aura that we can use with this tandem, seeing as how Arbiter's aura is just the arena. So a little bit bummed out there, but overall, I mean, a lot of damage mitigation, some buff removal, a nice shield, and a provoke on the A1. To me, that's a B kit. When you add in the Arbiter synergy here, it's definitely, she's usable for progression, and hey, maybe in the end game, if you pair her with Arbiter in the Cursed City content, you know, even like Hard Doom Tower Waves and stuff like that, they can absolutely be a formidable pair because they're so difficult to kill, and Arbiter is just going to be reviving all the time anyway with that skill reset, along with the unkillable on herself. So today's video, I thought it might be fun. I'll show you the build really quickly here, but I thought it might be fun to actually pick a almost high elf team. We'll do a quick Hydra run, we'll do some arena run, we'll start out in just a very difficult wave, maybe the top floor of Doom Tower as well, and we'll just see what this champion has to offer here. So let's jump into the build. All right, guys, so I'm going to be using her in an arena build. Obviously, it's 6-piece stone skin, so we can use it everywhere in the game. Obviously, totally viable in PvE as well, but specifically for the arena, I decided to make her kind of medium tanky, building a healthy amount of resist. With the resist passive, I can get her easily over 600, and I can use an aura if I want to further bolster up that resist. I'm thinking she's Force Affinity, high resistance, maybe a little bit of a response here, as best as we can do in the stone skin to Armons, right? So I do have accuracy, though, on the banner. I could get more resist if I wanted to, but I don't want to totally punt the A2 ability or the A1 ability as well. Granted, we can benefit from that accuracy that we get from the passive when the ally protection is up as well. So we have HP on the amulet, we have HP on the ring, and then we have stone skin on stone skin on stone skin. Speed and survivability. We have resist in some survivability. We have HP in survivability. Let's get a speed roll on that. Let's get a speed roll. Give me a 4. Okay, I'll take a 2. I'll take a 2. And then we just have, again, some speed, some resistance, and survivability, HP percentage, defense percentage as well. Remember, her shield is based off of her defense, not her HP, but I like a mix of both. Her defense is not sky high. I do not have her awakened or empowered, and it reminds you when you don't have a champion awakened or empowered, especially awakened, how much you're losing in terms of stats, right? The stats are insane that you're able to get. I would go for Hydra Clan Boss. I would consider Harmonic Impulse, fill a turn meter every time they lose their turn because of Fear or True Fear. You could obviously go with Brimstone. You're going to be building here with some accuracy as well for PvE content. Inside the arena, if you had her 6 stars, I would obviously go Polymorph, probably still go Polymorph, but other viable options could be Temporal Chains, could be Lightning Cage, and heck, could even for the arena, could even go with Life Harvest as well. Every time an enemy is revived, you get a destroy their max HP and fills his champion's turn meter. So there's a few different directions that you could go there. I think those are all viable options. For masteries, I went down and I picked up Unshakable for even more resist on this champion. Again, specifically kind of for the arena here. We do have that 2-turn Stone Skin as well, but I do want to mention, if you're going to use her in Hydra Clan Boss and you know you can keep her alive, she's going to have a Reviver and Arbiter on the same team ideally anyway. In that case, you can absolutely build her for a little bit of damage. She does have the AoE on the 3-turn cooldown on the A2, and the multipliers aren't that bad. It's a 3.6 multiplier on this AoE attack. So, hey, we're going to be building with some defense anyway, so defense plus an increased defense buff if somebody else has it on your squad can really set her up to do some nice kind of supplemental damage. She's not going to be your main nuker, but she can deal some decent damage at a 3.6 on that multiplier. Thanks to HellHades.com, you can see all the multipliers here. It's a 1.8 average defensive or damage rating on the A1 and a 3.6, as I mentioned, on the A2. Obviously, no damage coming from her A3 ability. They give her a 3.5 overall grading, which I think I'm along the same lines with, you know? And in terms of area rankings, guys, you see Clan Boss a 4 out of 5. They give her a 3.5 in Ice Golem. Magma Dragon a 5 out of 5. Scarab King a 3.5, and Arena a 3.5 as well. Again, I think those marks are pretty much on the money in terms of her overall viability in different areas of the game. All right, guys, so let's start out in the arena. Take a look at this champion. We have an all high elf team here. It's going to be all high elves all the time here today on the video. I have her with Fina, and I have her with Ethos. Ethos can really smack here inside the arena. Not a lot of people give him any credit to be an arena nuker, but we do have him in Savage gear as well as a 1-turn Stone Skin. So let's see how we do here. We have Arbiter in just a speed build, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. Hopefully we win the speed battle against some of these teams, but even if we don't, because we have 2-turn Stone Skin on the Incarnate, we have plenty of opportunity to kind of regroup and revive, right? Especially with those passives. So we do go first. We're going to go ahead and speed boost everybody, increase attack on everybody, get all the buffs from Fina's A2 protected because they're all going to be high elves on the team. We're going to go ahead and put a bunch of buffs on Ethos. He's going to have, what do we have here? 7 buffs. So we get 35% ignore defense from all of these buffs. And let's extinguish some life. What do you guys say? Boom. Not bad there. Not bad. But they're going to revive with Lazarius in a moment, or with both of their mythical nukers here. But let's keep it going. So now it's our turn. What do we want to do here? Well, we're going to go in with the A2 because we have a chance of removing shields, which we are going against a shield, but also another random buff, aka potentially we can remove the block damage, and we are Force Affinity, so we have a great shot at doing so, and of course we do. I thought we weren't going to. Now, this is a situation I was talking about earlier. We have no buffs to decrease the duration of on the A2, so instead, it opens up the viability of going with Destiny's Call because, hey, if we die, if we really need it, we're going to have that. If she dies, the Incarnate, we're going to have that reset anyway. So here we go. And we're going against some like beast mode champions, obviously, but we might be able to kill them all right here with Outburst. Let's try. Boom. There we go. Not bad for a little high elf team there, right? And, you know, she didn't, I guess she shined a little bit with the A2 ability. Let's go after a little bit. I want to make sure that we're not in plat right now, but I do want to go ahead and, yeah, let's just go. I want to make sure we're going against solid teams here. So I'll show you guys probably, I don't know, we'll do like 3 or 4 arena battles, and then we'll jump. I have like some Doom Tower teams prepared for you guys, but honestly, I think doing 20 minutes on, wave content on this champion wasn't super entertaining. She's a very I'll say like a pretty simplistic champion, you know? Let's try the A2 again. I was impressed by that. Yeah, that's some nice damage there, Ethos. This is the Ethos show here. Let's go against a little bit of a tankier team. Yeah, Taurus Marishka team with Armans and Elva. But again, basically all I did was I put my best speed gear on Arbiter. Maybe not the best on the account. She's around 400 right now. But let's see again. Fina. By the way, what I'm doing with Fina here is, just so you guys can see, is she's the Lord from High Elves, right? So she has a grant an extra turn ability with one faction ally, removes debuff, so a cleanse, not that we've needed it so far, and then buffs by this skill, buffs placed by this skill cannot be removed. So everything's protected, increased attack, crit rate, and crit damage. And then we go with the A2. This is going to place a block debuffs, a block damage, and a counterattack on a champion on the same team. Also resets the cooldown of all their skills, and with the passive, check this out, just read all the way to the bottom. Allies will ignore 5% of target's defense for each buff on them. That's the magic of placing all these buffs on our damage dealer here in Ethos. We come in and we do tremendous amounts of damage, especially for a champion that has no built-in ignore defense in his kit. Anyway, here we go. So Marichka's already down, so is Taurus. Now we can go right back in again with the Destiny's Call ability. And here, I wish I had her built for a little bit of damage in this situation. We still have 2-turn Stone Skin. We could probably finish off Elva here. Maybe Armans too because of the matchup here. But instead, let's just go in with the Ally Protection and the Strengthen just to get more buffs on Ethos. So we can ignore more defense. And of course, there they all go. Famous last words, just to get more buffs. But let's hope we can go ahead and extinguish life there almost. Let's get in there and decrease some duration. Oh, Marichka. Oh, Marichka. All right, let's go in here and do this again, kind of regrouping here. Take that extra turn, do the exact same thing, and speed boost it. And, well, extinguish life. Then we have to do it all over again. Oh, good old Marichka and Taurus, right? By the way, tomorrow's video might probably be a shard opening, my Void shard opening. And then after that one, I have a couple bangers on the way for you guys. So definitely stay tuned, stay tuned. Shard opening is interesting. It's interesting. I'm not going to spoil it there, but yeah, after that, I got a good little streak of content coming for you guys. I'm excited about it. All right, so here we go. All we need is 1 kill before the revive on Marichka, please, so we can end this madness of a battle. There we go. Come on. She's probably going to have it up right now. Don't do it. Okay, she revived Armans. Perfect. Perfect. Ethos is ready. There he goes. Let's go with the A3. Extinguish life. Boom. Done. Game over. All right. Taurus Marichka team down. Let's go with one more team. Super tanky. Let's go with this one right here, right? I think this is... I wanted to pick a Harima team. We've done... Oh, this is a good... Yeah, whatever. Cool. Let's do it. Literally the same team I was just at. Okay, here we go. All right. But yeah, overall, guys, I mean, where else could you use her? Could you use her without... I should probably do a battle without Fina just to prove the point here that, you know, it's cool to have an all-high elf team, but I would say just arena progression in general. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably already going to have Arbiter or well on your way to getting Arbiter. You know, why not pair them together, right? You could do a lot with that kind of flex spot that you have after that. Let me put it on auto for a second while I talk to you guys about her. If you're just like trying to farm your Great Hall, right? And you know you're going to get to the point on your account where eventually you're not going to win speed battles, right? That's where I am on my account. It's just, I'm not going to win against the fastest teams out there. So it becomes a situation where you're like, okay, what do I do with Arbiter then? You know, sure, you can still get by and just kind of cherry pick teams in the arena. But I feel like what the Incarnate allows you to do is really mitigate, oh, I want to run Arbiter teams, but now if I don't go first, it's not going to be an instant loss for me inside the arena, right? right? And you don't need 2-turn Stone Skin. I think 1 turn is fine as well. What 2-turn allows you to do with her, though, is put her in the 2-turn Stone Skin and open up with the ally protection, and then everything that she's hit with after the ally protection for that next turn, she's actually not going to take that damage on, right? So I thought that was a pretty, nice move to go in if you're going to be opening up with the A3 ability, not the A2. So I think you guys saw enough arena here with her. Let's go ahead and jump into Hydra really quickly. This is, by the way, I'll just show you the team. It was boring, to be fair, but I ran her with this team. Ran her with this team, and they did a good job. They completed it. It just took around 5 or 6 minutes. But I guess the point that I wanted to show with this team is that all you really need is another kind of cleanser. There's no cleanse kind of missing from this tandem, right? We don't have one. So a cleanser on the team would be great. So Reliquary Tender did fine there. And then just some damage and debuffs. We went with Tuok and Bellower, right? And that was enough to get the job done from almost every Doom Tower hard floor. So I feel like this doesn't have to be Doom Tower. It can be progression wherever you are on your account. It's going to be a breeze to blow through wave content with these two champions working together in tandem. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to the clan boss, Hydra more specifically, put them on an all high elf team and see how we can do here, right? I'm going to go full auto on this team. I'm not going to stop it for a second. Hopefully it lasts the entire duration of Hydra, and hopefully the damage is pretty good. So we have Wallmaster. Now I have Wallmaster Ethereum in the lead spot without an aura. Why? It's why because Fina, who we just spoke about, with that A2 ability, she's going to target the leader, right? So I think it's worth sacrificing an aura to get the extra buffs on Wallmaster, ergo ignoring more defense off of a Wallmaster, with his AoE on his A1 ability as well. And then we have Arbiter in the Incarnate. We have Archer Queen in there for the provokes, Hex as well. If I didn't have Archer Queen, I'd go with a Provoker, ideally in a Curse set. And then we just have a debuffer. We could have went Bellinor, but I know Venus will deal a little bit more damage for our team, and we already had 4 high elves with Fina, Incarnate, Arbiter, and Wallmaster. So anyway, this is the squad. Let's jump in there without an aura. Feels wrong jumping in here without an aura. I don't know. And then let's see what we can do here. So we're just going to start out kind of setting up the team, obviously. Kind of the same setup as the arena. Now, I want to be very clear. I know I've already mentioned it, but it's worth mentioning again, I feel like, that we want to, and we're just going to shut off the A3 of Wallmaster, the self-buffing ability with the extra turn, because we're getting all the buffs anyway from Fina, so we can shut off the A3 and he won't outstrip his extra turn buffs, right? Worth mentioning, if I was going to run her in Hydra, I would absolutely go ahead and rebuild her with crit rate on those gauntlets, right? Get a little bit of damage. And if you don't care at all about the resist or the arena or anything like that, resist would be helpful against like Frostbiter and Ice Golem as well. But if you don't care about it so much, I would probably just prioritize a little bit more accuracy, survivability, obviously defense, because the shield is based off defense, and just trying to get, even extra turns. You could go Relentless. You could go with a little bit of ignore defense. Definitely some ways that you could go ahead and build her. You can see the damage and go with War Master, as well, right? So that would be kind of the PvE, specifically a Hydra build for her. And I am just rambling away here and not letting the team go. As I said, let's just go ahead and let it go full auto here. And you're going to see, I'll stay with you guys for a few turns, but I'll come back at you at the very end and I'll show you what kind of damage everybody dealt. The notable thing about this team, though, if you look at it, right, is we really only have one nuker on the entire squad, right? But everybody there is built to help optimize the damage of Wallmaster, right? Getting all those, he has 10 buffs up right now, right? 10 buffs. Getting in there with all those enemy max HP abilities. Obviously, Venus is going to deal some damage. Archer Queen is going to deal some damage as well. And we're probably going to be leaving... It's tough to say, but throughout the duration of... if we go the entire duration of this battle, full auto, we're probably going to be leaving... I don't know, 5 million or so in War Master damage off the table, maybe 5 to 10 range, and not to mention with a blessing if we went in there with the blessing with whatchamacallit, excuse me, Not to mention if we go in there with Brimstone as well, right? All right, so kind of getting into the swing of things here with the squad, right? We're at 9 million in 8 turns. I expect the next maybe 8 turns to be a lot better than the first 8. So let's see what we do as we decapitate these heads, right? We have a lot of turn meter fill, obviously, on this team, which is really nice. We go in there. There we go. Starting to stack up some nice damage here. It's nice to have that counterattack on Wallmaster because of, again, the decent AoE on his A1 attack. Here we go. There's another. Okay, so the damage is starting to stack up a little bit here. And it looks like the survivability of this team is, I mean, that's not going to be an issue at all, right? Obviously, Arbiter is going to be our healer, and we'll have a ton of damage mitigation from the Incarnate herself. I feel like that tandem is just going to be, it's going to be huge for some players out there, right? Progression anywhere in the game. If you just, it allows you, if nothing else, it allows you to pair them together in a Hydra situation and not really have to worry about any other support on your team outside a cleanse, right? Cleanse, block debuffs. But getting that strengthened, getting the ally protect, just be careful. You never want the ally protect to spread onto the Hydra heads. But getting that along with all that survivability on your Reviver and Healer and Arbiter, I feel like it's a nice tandem. And keep in mind, the A2s have some synergy too. The A2 of Arbiter can decrease the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn, and then the A2 on the Incarnate can strip another buff entirely off of with the A2. So there is some buff removal, which is really nice to have in the tandem as well. So guys, I'm going to come back at you at the end of this battle. But you can see the damage is starting to pick up a little bit here. I expect it to actually start to ramp up quite a bit more as well when Wallmaster really starts going. The question is can we save him when he gets eaten? That remains to be seen, guys, but I'll see you on the flip side. All right, guys, so not too bad. 350 million, full auto, pretty damn impressive here on brutal difficulty, I should mention. Wallmaster put out 207 million of our 350 million damage there. How would you optimize this all high elf team here, guys? If you were me, who would you put in? Maybe a Yannicka instead? I feel like that might be some obvious, an obviously good pairing as well, but definitely she's not going to alt damage. I don't think Wallmaster on this team. We could try to find her, get a way to get her in otherwise. Anyway, Archer Queen 56 million, almost 57. Incarnate 5 million. Again, I think that could easily be 10 million, 11 million damage with War Master there. Same thing with Fina. So definitely leaving some damage off the table, and let alone putting crit damage on her gauntlets. Maybe we can even jack that up to 15 million or so. But again, I expect it to be kind of support-ish damage, right? Kind of like Arbiter-like, not Venus-like, or Archer Queen-like. Either way, though, look at Archer Queen's healing and look at Arbiter's healing. What you need to read from Arbiter's healing here is the fact that she didn't heal. Arbiter's only healing allies with less than 50% HP, so I think it does speak to the, I guess, the durability of the tandem, right? The fact that Arbiter didn't have to heal means that everybody was protected the entire battle. Nobody got, eaten, obviously, or consumed the entire battle as well. So overall, yeah, is she an elite champion? No. If you missed out on her, did you miss out on something really, really crazy and good? Absolutely not. But if you went for her, I think a lot of players can get some value out of her. Let me know what you thought of her after this kind of honest review, this playtest here, guys. And if you're looking for a video to watch right now, I've recommended this recently, but check out this bomb video that I did with Gaius the Gleeful paired with Valkanen, paired with Sun Wukong. Basically instant bomb detonation that nobody can really avoid, especially against Stone Skin. We just sacrificed Sun Wukong. Anyway, check out the video. It was really, really fun. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.